Welcome everybody from the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. It's great to have you here today. We're going to continue to look at our urban parking system repository that's been designed and developed in Enterprise Architect. The last few videos we've been looking at a number of different viewpoints within ArchiMate, and we're going to continue that journey today looking at the strategy viewpoint. My name's Scott Havard. I'm joined by Stephen McGuire. Welcome, Stephen. What can you tell us about the strategy viewpoint?
Thanks for the introduction, Scott. Always a pleasure to be here. Yeah, the strategy viewpoint is another important viewpoint in the ArchiMate list of viewpoints. So remember, ArchiMate is a language, almost the de facto language for describing things in an enterprise architecture, right from the motivation level through business and application information, right down to a technology level as well. But the strategy viewpoint kind of connects things that courses of action that an organization is deploying or working out against the outcomes that the organization wants. Then those are mapped, the course of actions are mapped to capabilities and other things such as resources. So let's make a start, Scott. Go up to the top right-hand corner of our application. I've been doing some work on ArchiMate previously today on some other viewpoints. So the ArchiMate perspective is selected there, but let's just go through how we select that. Or we go down here to the perspective set enterprise architecture and select ArchiMate, which we'll do there. And now the tool changes its focus to ArchiMate. You can see the builder page has been displayed and the ArchiMate list of patterns is also here in the panel. I can expand these ones and you can see here strategy viewpoints, and we've got strategy viewpoint there, value streams, all sorts of other viewpoints. So we'll have this strategy viewpoint there. We've got an outcome at the top, courses of actions, capabilities, and then resources there. Scott, there's great productivity from people using these patterns to inject a sort of starter model into their own repositories. That can be done by selecting the Create Model package there, or button there, and that will inject the package into the project browser. As always, I like to start from first principles, but once you've seen how the model is created from scratch, feel free to come back and get the productivity gains from these patterns. I'm going to close the builder page and I'm going to go into the project browser and find a location for our new strategy viewpoint. I'm going to select enterprise there, drop that down. We are interested in enterprise architecture and we've got business architecture, and this is certainly part of that business architecture level. So we're going to create a new package here using the new package icon in the project browser window. I simply click on that icon and give it a name, which is the strategy viewpoint. And I won't create a diagram. I'll do that in a separate step, but you can create a diagram straight from here by clicking that radio button. So let's now create a diagram, again using the new diagram icon in the browser toolbar. I select that icon. Enterprise Architect brings up the builder page. ArchiMate is the perspective that I've got selected, and here we can see a number of diagram types: business, application, technology, motivation. Let's have a look in the business one there, and we can see a number of different patterns here. So here's the strategy viewpoint, and selecting this, Scott, is a really good thing to do, because what it's going to do is it's going to limit the number of elements to just those that are important for the strategy viewpoint. So I'm going to create that diagram, and you can see a diagram now has been injected into our repository under the strategy viewpoint package. Notice also that the tool has changed to be focused just on this viewpoint, and you can see there are structural relationships we can use, but also a number of elements here. So capabilities, courses of action, outcomes, resources, and value stream. And you can see by the color of those that they actually come from different parts of the language. So outcome there comes from the motivation part of the application of the language, and the other ones are from this sort of strategy layer. So let's make a start. And what I like to do first, Scott, is when I put in that strategy viewpoint, I like to put some notes into the notes window there, and that helps people understand what the actual viewpoint is about. I didn't make these up myself. They've come from the specification. You can see that strategy viewpoint allows the business architect to model a high-level strategic concerns, strategies, courses of actions, etc. So let's make a start, and let's start with a course of action, and we'll drop that into the, all right, let's start with an outcome rather. Yeah, so we'll start with the outcome. We'll put that into the diagram, and we'll give that a name. And let's give it, again, let's give it some notes. So we'll do that.
So with the outcome, you've said in 15%. So is it useful when you've got an outcome to have some kind of numeric value or something that can be achieved?
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. More typical with the outcomes, you can have it on the goals as well. And outcomes can be related to goals, but it is a very useful thing to do. And from my point of view, is a best practice thing to do, because what you're saying there is if you left that result in 15% increase in efficiency and just said optimize the urban parking experience, that's not specific, and it's going to be very hard to measure. And what you want to do is be able to measure these things and say, the notes you probably should put some more detail about, when that 15% increase efficiency, what time period that goes over. It might be in the first year, it might be in the first 18 months or something like that. So you can put in some more detail about that. But it's a very useful thing to do, to put in some metric there that can be measured.
Yeah.
So yeah, very good point to pick up on, Scott. The other thing that we can put in here now is a course of action, and so we can look at our toolbox again, and that tells the story. We've got a course of action there. I'll put that in. I'll give it a name. We'll call it smart meter deployment. So the urban landscape has a lot of manual meters, coin operated meters, and the city government is trying to deploy a whole lot of smart meters that introduce all sorts of new technology, like being able to pay with credit cards or debit cards, being able to link up with an application both for the parking inspectors as well as the motorists. So lots of things to happen under that smart meter deployment there. Let's put some notes in that one as well, and let's link this one up, and we'll say that this thing here, this course of action, look at the different relationships. We'll say it influences or realizes. We can choose which one of these relationships we want. Both are correct, but let's choose influences that for the start. A little bit weaker than realize, but that's the one that I want to use. The other thing I can put in now is a capability. So I'm going to choose a capability from the toolbox. We'll drag that into the diagram, placing that underneath the smart meter, and I'll put in digital payment. So this is an important part. If you've ever experienced getting a fine from the city government, you'll see that this digital payment thing is an important one to prevent you from getting a fine. If you make that digital payment, you didn't have any coins, you're able to use some other kind of payment methods. So we'll put a relationship in between this one as well, and we'll let EA do the work. Tells us which ones we can use. I'm going to say that capability realizes that course of action, but there are other relationships that you can put in there. The other thing I'm going to put in is a resource. So I'm going to put in a resource there, and I'll drag it in from the toolbox again, put it underneath the digital payment system, and I'm going to call it the IoT, the Internet of Things sensor network. So this resource is being used in some way, and we'll put some notes in for that. And I think we'll use the serving relationship. So that resource, or actually maybe we'll just do the assignment. We'll assign that resource to that digital payment. So we've got a number of different options there. Serving assigned to, some of them are stronger, some of them weaker. We'll put that one in there, and you can see we've started to flesh out our model. Scott, I'm going to stop there and get you to perform some of your time travel magic.
Welcome back, everybody. I've performed a little bit of time travel magic, and we now have our completed strategy viewpoint diagram on screen. Stephen, can you tell us a little bit about the strategy viewpoint and how you've expanded the diagram?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Glad to be back here. You can see we started before with looking at this smart meter deployment, the digital payment, and the IoT sensor network. You can see now, looking at the IoT sensor network there, what I'm going to do, Scott, is I'm just going to use this presentation mode here so you can see the element that I'm looking at. As I click around, you'll see that that is putting a border around there. So I encourage people when they're doing their own presentations to use this kind of technique. And again, I can put in the show directions of the lines as well, and that's going to show me the directions that these lines are in, whether it's an incoming line connector or an outgoing one. So the IoT sensor network there is a resource. It is assigned to both the real-time monitoring and also the digital payment system. So we have now followed this through as well and said that this particular outcome here that we want to achieve is we have these relations influenced by the smart meter deployment, mobile app integration, and data-driven pricing. So all of those three things, and there might be more, are contributing to that
increased efficiency. Yeah,
exactly, Scott. And we see then that the capabilities are related to those outcomes, and we have resources there. And we also have this value stream, Scott, that's related to the data analysis there as well. So remember, I can put these elements into a different iconic presentation. So I can click on an element, for example, there, and right mouse click and say appearance, and I say don't use reticular notation, and you can see that puts it into that form. And that's the same for all of these elements. I can say, look, I don't want to do that, and we can use those icons. So that depends upon how you want to present the information, but that's a very useful thing to do. Let's just put that back now, put those back into that other appearance, or let's put this one back for start, use the rectangular notation, and we've got this relationship here. We can just tidy up under there. So the other thing, Scott, I'd like to do is to allow people to understand the lines, and I'm going to at the moment turn the show direction facility off there, and I'm going to go to our libraries in our repository, and we have a list of legends here, and I'm going to drag the ArchiMate connector legend on there. This is something we created for our ArchiMate repository, and you can see now that that's gone in there underneath the diagram notes, and it's dynamically colored the relationships, and so we can see what type of relationship they are. So the influences one there, you can see third from the bottom, you can see that's the orange color. The assignment one there is in the green, and we can see those ones as well. So
it also helps to demonstrate how enterprise architects are pretty good at reuse. So you can reuse legends on countless diagrams if necessary.
Yeah, exactly, Scott. So this one is this legend has been used in a number of different diagrams. So if we look at that and we were to look at this one here and say, find in all diagrams, it brings up a list here. It's popped up on my other monitor, but you can see all the diagrams that's listed in. So it's used in lots of them. Why are we using it? Because they're all ArchiMate diagrams, and they all follow the standard ArchiMate connectors and the same rules. So again, Scott, that's the strategy viewpoint. Very useful for connecting those high-level things in the motivation part of the language. So up here with this element that's come, this outcome that's come from the motivation level, and then all of these other ones that are part of the strategy world. So I encourage people to create their own strategy viewpoints, and remember, it isn't fixed in concrete. If you want to put some other elements on here, so for example, you could put a goal on this one as well to show how the outcome is related to a goal. That would be perfectly permissible because ArchiMate has that flexibility in viewpoints.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Stephen, for showing us the strategy viewpoint. It's great to see it all come together. As always, to our audience, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us today. It's always great to have you with us. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. We love your feedback. If you have any questions about strategy viewpoint or ArchiMate in general, you can reach out to Stephen using the credentials in the video notes below. He's got some LinkedIn credentials and website details there, which can allow you to reach out to Stephen. As always, thank you very much for your expertise. It's been great to see the strategy viewpoint come together. Thanks for your time, Stephen.
Always a pleasure, Scott.